name is Alyssa Bryant. I'm 29 years old. 6 months ago, my parents convinced me to let them hold my $82,000 workplace injury settlement. They said I wasn't in the right headspace to manage it, that I'd just been through a divorce, through 9 days in the ICU, through learning to walk again. They said they'd keep it safe. What they didn't tell me was that they'd already decided where that money was going. Not into a high-yield account. Not into something secure. Into my brother Tyler's cryptocurrency scheme. The one he swore would triple their investment in 6 months. When complications hit and my surgeon told me I had 12 days to come up with $27,400 or risk permanent disability, I went to my father. He didn't even blink. "We can't," he said. "They don't know that I kept every bank statement, every text message, every email. They don't know what I'm about to do." And what my mother said next brought me to my knees. But to understand how we got here, you need to see where this started. If this story sounds familiar, if you've ever been the one expected to figure it out alone, stay with me. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. You're not alone in this. The lawyer slid the final papers across the table on August 19th, 2024. "You're free," he said. I didn't feel free. I felt erased. 3 years of marriage dissolved in 14 minutes of signatures. My ex-husband kept the house. I kept the debt. Fair, the mediator called it. I called it Tuesdays and Thursdays crying in my car before my shift started. I had 8 months to figure out my next move. I got 6 weeks. The apartment lease I'd signed after the divorce ended January 31st. I had nowhere to go. I was a night shift supervisor at a fulfillment center in Charlotte, North Carolina. The kind of place that runs 24/7, 365 days a year. Boxes moving on conveyors, workers moving like parts in a machine. Me in the middle, making sure nothing stopped. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 40 people under me. $52,000 base salary, plus overtime when I could get it. Jasmine Mitchell, my coworker and the only person who gave a damn, cornered me by the break room one night in early February. "You look like hell, Liz." "I feel like hell," I said. "But the overtime pays." She handed me a coffee. "You picked up Valentine's?" "Time and a half. I need the money." She studied my face. "Didn't push. I needed the money. I needed the distraction. I had no idea that shift would change everything. Thanksgiving 2024. I drove to my parents' house in Matthews. Same house I grew up in. Same worn carpet. Same family hierarchy. My father, Douglas Bryant, Doug to everyone else. Sir to me when he was angry. Sat at the head of the table. 61 years old. Insurance adjuster. The kind of man who believes control and love are the same thing. My mother, Carolyn, 57. Retired office manager, keeper of peace, translator of Doug's moods, professional excuse maker. And Tyler, 33, my older brother, real estate agent with a suspended license, credit card debt north of 30,000. Golden child. Doug carved the turkey. Tyler's getting his real estate license reinstated, just needs a small bridge loan to cover the fees. Carolyn nodded. "We're helping him out." "That's great," I said. Nobody asked how I was doing. Nobody asked about the divorce. Carolyn looked at me. "Can you grab the pie from the kitchen, honey?" I grabbed the pie. Tyler got $8,000 that week. I mentioned needing new tires. $600. Silence. I should have seen the pattern. But you don't see the cage when you're born inside it. February 14th, 2025. Valentine's Day. I took the overnight shift. 11:47 p.m., I was on the catwalk above the main sorting line. 12 feet up. Metal grating under my boots. A conveyor belt jammed. Boxes piling up. I climbed up to check the sensor. The grating was slick. Condensation. I didn't see it. My foot slipped. I remember thinking, Grab the rail. I remember my hand closing on air. I remember the sound my leg made when I hit the concrete, like a branch snapping. Then I remember nothing. I woke up 3 days later. I didn't know I'd been asleep. I didn't know my life had already been decided for me. The nurse's voice came first. Soft. Careful. Alyssa, can you hear me? I tried to answer. My mouth tasted like metal and dust. You're at Carolina's medical center. You had an accident. You've been here 3 days. The room was too bright. White ceiling tiles, monitors beeping. My right leg elevated in some kind of brace, titanium rod I'd learn later. Femur fracture. Emergency surgery the night I came in. My knee was immobilized. My head throbbed. Mild traumatic brain injury, they said. Concussion protocol. The nurse smiled. You're very lucky. The fall could have been fatal. Lucky, I whispered. My parents were in the hallway. I could see them through the glass. Doug on his phone, Carolyn wringing her hands. 9 days I stayed in that ICU, room 4, West 12. Physical therapy started on day 7, a walker. 5 steps. I cried. Tyler didn't visit. He's busy with work, Mom said when I asked. I didn't ask what work. I didn't know then that Tyler was already planning his next big thing, and I was going to pay for it. Discharge day was February 23rd. The doctor stood at the foot of my bed. You'll need support at home. Physical therapy 3 times a week. No weight bearing for 6 weeks minimum. I nodded. Where will you be staying? He asked. I opened my mouth, closed it. My apartment lease had ended January 31st. I'd been planning to find something cheaper, something closer to work. Then the accident happened. Doug stepped in. She's coming home with us. We'll take care of her. The doctor looked relieved. Good. She shouldn't be alone. Doug put his hand on my shoulder. You're not going anywhere alone, honey. Not like this. I looked at my mother. She smiled. It's just temporary, I said. Until I can walk. Of course, Carolyn said. Just until you're back on your feet. Doug wheeled me out to the car. Wheelchair rental. $120 a month. They took me to my childhood bedroom. Pink walls I'd never repainted. Twin bed. Posters from high school still on the wall. I thought I was going home. I was walking into a trap. March 2025. I learned what it meant to be dependent. Carolyn cooked my meals. Doug drove me to physical therapy every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Atrium Health Therapy Center. Same route every time. I tried to help. Dishes. Laundry. You just focus on healing, sweetheart, Carolyn said. We've got everything else. I feel like such a burden. Don't be silly. That's what family is for. The first 4 weeks, I couldn't leave the wheelchair. Week 5, I graduated to a walker. Slow shuffling steps. My physical therapist, Amanda, cheered like I'd run a marathon. Doug was in the waiting room every session, reading his phone. Never asked how it went. I believed my mother when she said family was for this. I actually believed her. That's how good she was. April 10th. The envelope came from Veronica Martinez, my workers' compensation lawyer. Thick. Official. I opened it at the kitchen table. Dear Ms. Bryant, after negotiations with your employer's insurance carrier, we are pleased to inform you that a settlement has been reached in the amount of $82,000. $82,000. This sum accounts for medical expenses, $40,000, lost wages, $25,000, and permanent partial disability compensation, $17,000. Settlement check will arrive via certified mail on or before April 25, 2025. $82,000? More money than I'd ever seen. Enough to start over. Enough to get my own place. Enough to breathe. I called my mother into the room. Mom, look. She read it. Her eyes lit up. "Oh, honey, this is wonderful. I can get my own apartment now, once I'm walking better." "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," she said. "Let's talk to your father first." The way she said it, "let's talk to your father," should have been my warning. April 25th. The check arrived. Certified mail. I signed for it. $82,000. My name on the payee line. Doug offered to drive me to the bank. I was still using the walker. Still couldn't drive. "I'll take you to Wells Fargo," he said. "We'll get this deposited somewhere safe." At the bank, we sat across from a woman named Patricia. Doug did most of the talking. "My daughter just went through a major trauma," he said. "Divorce. ICU. She's not in the right headspace to manage this kind of money right now. What if she falls again? What if there's an emergency and she can't get to the bank?" I started to speak. He kept going. "I'd like to be added to the account, just in case. Just for safety." Patricia looked at me. "Ms. Bryant, this would be a joint account. Both of you would have full access. Is that correct?" I looked at my father. He smiled, reassuring. "It's just temporary, Liz. Until you're back on your feet. Then we'll switch it back to just your name." I thought about the walker in the car, the wheelchair I'd just graduated from, the physical therapy bills still coming. "Yes," I said. "That's fine." She printed the forms. I signed. Account number 478233910056. $82,000 deposited at 2:14 p.m. Douglas Bryant added as joint owner. Doug shook Patricia's hand. "Thank you for taking care of my daughter." On the drive home, he patted my knee. "You just got divorced, honey. Let us help you not blow this on emotional spending. We'll keep it safe." Carolyn met us at the door. "How'd it go?" "All set," Doug said. "The money's safe." I signed the form. I thought I was being smart. I thought I was being protected. Early May. I didn't know about this conversation until later, until I found the emails. But this is what happened. Tyler showed up at the house with his laptop. Tuesday afternoon. I was at physical therapy. He sat at the kitchen table with Doug and Carolyn. "I need you to look at this," Tyler said. "This is generational wealth. 8% monthly returns. That's 96% annually." He turned the laptop, showed them a dashboard, charts going up and to the right, testimonials, screenshots of other investors making $30,000 a month. "It's called Bitmine Cooperative," Tyler said. "Cryptocurrency mining pool. I've been researching this for 6 months." Doug leaned in. "How much do you need?" "Minimum buy-in is $50,000, but with $80,000, we get premium tier, better returns, priority withdrawal." Carolyn glanced at Doug. "That's Alyssa's settlement." Tyler didn't miss a beat. "This is for the family. When this pays off, we'll all benefit. Alyssa, too. We'll triple her money. She'll thank us." Doug looked at the screen, at the numbers, at his son. "How fast can we move on this?" "There's a window," Tyler said. "This week. After that, premium tier closes." Doug looked at Carolyn. She nodded. They didn't even hesitate. I was at physical therapy, learning to walk. They were deciding my future without me. May 4th, 2025. 3:22 p.m. Doug sat at his home office computer. Logged into the Wells Fargo joint account. Clicked Transfer Funds. Recipient, Tyler Bryant _ crypto wallet at blockchain.io amount, $82,000. Memo, family investment. He clicked Confirm. The confirmation screen loaded. Wire transfer successful. Funds will arrive within 24 to 48 hours. Doug printed the confirmation, filed it in his desk drawer, closed the browser. I was at physical therapy. I'd just walked 50 feet without the walker. Amanda was cheering. I had no idea the money was already gone. $82,000, wired in one click, while I was taking my first independent steps. I didn't understand it then, but the pattern had always been there. Tyler's college, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, $40,000 a year, 4 years, $160,000 total. Mom and Dad paid every cent. My college, Central Piedmont Community College. I paid my own tuition, worked nights at Target, took out loans for the rest. 2019. Tyler wanted to buy his first house. Down payment, $25,000. Mom and Dad gave it to him. No hesitation. The house foreclosed in 2021. Nobody ever asked for the money back. 2021. Tyler had a business idea. Some app that never launched. Startup capital needed $15,000. They gave it to him. January 2025. I was going through my divorce. Broke. Needed a car because my ex kept ours. I asked Dad if I could borrow $5,000. Just a loan. I'd pay it back in a year. He looked at me over his reading glasses. Alyssa, you need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You made your bed with that marriage. Now you have to lie in it. 2 months later, Tyler got $8,000 for his real estate license reinstatement. I'd been the backup plan my whole life. I just didn't have a name for it yet. Late June, I'd graduated from the walker to a cane. I was sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, trying to plan my next move. I needed to see the bank statements, track the interest, figure out when I could get my own place. Dad, I called into the living room. Can you email me the bank statements from the joint account? I want to see how the money's doing. Silence. He walked into the kitchen. Why? Don't you trust me? Of course I do. I just want to see where we're at. I'll email them to you. June 28th. I asked. July 5th. I followed up. Hey Dad, did you get a chance to send those statements? I'll get to it. July 12th. Dad? Alyssa, I said I'll get to it. I'm busy. He never sent them. I let it go. I was tired. And that's exactly what they counted on. 4th of July weekend. Family dinner at the house. Tyler came, complained the whole time about how slow his investment returns were coming. These things take time, Carolyn said, rubbing his shoulder. You're so ambitious, sweetheart. It'll pay off. I'd walked a mile that morning, first time without the cane, a whole mile. I walked a mile today, I said. No cane. Carolyn looked up, distracted. That's great, honey. She turned back to Tyler. Did you want more potato salad? Thanks, Mom. I sat there, invisible. Later, she cornered me in the kitchen while I washed dishes. You're doing so well, Alyssa. We're so proud. Thanks. She dried a plate. You know, you've always been the strong one. You always bounce back. Tyler, he needs more guidance. She said it like a compliment. It felt like a dismissal. The strong one. I'd hear that phrase again, and again, until it became a weapon. August 6th, 2025. I woke up at 6 a.m. My leg was throbbing. Not the normal ache. Not the dull post-surgery stiffness. This was sharp, hot, deep in the bone. I tried to stand, put weight on it. My knee buckled. I grabbed the dresser, lowered myself back to the bed. Called out of work for the first time in 4 years. Jazz texted, You okay? You never call out. Legs bad, going to urgent care. The urgent care doctor took one look, ordered an X-ray. The tech went quiet while looking at the images. That's when I knew. When medical professionals go silent, it's never good news. August 8th. Dr. Raymond Pierce's office, orthopedic specialist. He pulled up the X-ray on his monitor, pointed at my femur. The bone isn't healing. See this gap? That's a non-union fracture. The break from February never fully fused. He clicked to the MRI. And here, your knee. A vascular necrosis, The blood supply to the joint is compromised. I stared at the screen, white and gray shadows that determined my future. What does that mean? He turned to face me. Without intervention, you're looking at permanent disability. Possibly amputation if the necrosis spreads. The room tilted. What kind of intervention? Revision surgery. We'd need to do a bone graft. New hardware. Biologics to stimulate growth. It's complex, but it's your best shot. When? Soon. You have a window. Maybe 2 weeks. After that, the damage becomes irreversible. I asked the question I was terrified to ask. How much will it cost? Dr. Pierce called his billing coordinator into the room. She pulled up my insurance information, typed, frowned. Your insurance will cover about 60% of the procedure, but because of the experimental biologics we're using, they require upfront payment. Reimbursement comes after the surgery. How much upfront? She turned her screen toward me. $27,400. The number sat there, cold, final. I can break it down, she said. Surgeon fee is $12,000. Anesthesia is $3,200. Operating room is $4,800. The biologics, the bone graft material, that's $7,400. She handed me a printed invoice. Payment is due by August 20th. That's 12 days from now. We can't schedule the surgery without it. I took the paper. My hands were shaking. The surgery itself needs to happen within 14 days, Dr. Pierce said. After that, the risk of complications increases exponentially. I looked at the invoice. At the payment portal information at the bottom, Atrium Health Patient Portal. Account required. I had 12 days and $82,000 sitting in a bank account with my name on it. August 9th, 7:13 p.m. I sat on my childhood bed, stared at my phone. I'd been staring at it for an hour. Finally, I called. 3 rings. Hey, Liz, what's up? Dad, I need to talk to you about the settlement account. Pause. What about it? I have a medical issue, a complication from the surgery. I need another operation. What kind of operation? Bone graft, revision surgery. It's serious. If I don't do it, I could lose my leg. Silence. 5 seconds. I counted. How much? $27,400. I need it by August 20th. Another pause. Longer this time. Alyssa. Dad, it's my money. I just need to access the account. We can't. The words hit like cold water. What do you mean, we can't? The investment. It's locked in right now. There are penalties if we pull out early. Significant penalties. What investment? You said it was in a savings account. It's more complicated than that. Dad, I need this money. I could lose my leg. I understand that, but then unlock it, pay the penalties. I don't care. The line went dead. I pulled the phone from my ear, stared at the screen. Call ended. 2 minutes, 41 seconds. I called back, straight to voicemail. I called again, again, 6 times. Voicemail every time. My father hung up on me, while I was telling him I might lose my leg. 8:02 p.m. I tried my mother. She answered on the second ring. Alyssa, honey. Did Dad tell you? He told me you called. Sweetie, you have to understand. Understand what? That you gave my money to Tyler? Silence. Alyssa. Did you give my settlement to Tyler? Her voice got smaller. Your father made a family decision. Tyler had this opportunity. It's an investment. When it pays off, we'll all benefit. Mom, I need surgery. I have 11 days or I lose my leg. We'll figure something out. But the investment has a lockup period. We can't access the funds right now without losing everything. Then get a loan. Use the house. Do something. Alyssa. Her voice changed, firmer. You're the strong one. You always land on your feet. Tyler. He needs this. He's been struggling. This investment could change his life. I closed my eyes. And my leg? You'll figure it out. You always do. 6 minutes, 18 seconds. I hung up. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I was beyond both. 8:47 p.m. I sat on the floor of my childhood bedroom, pink walls, twin bed, posters of bands I didn't listen to anymore. My phone buzzed. My chart notification. Reminder, payment due for scheduled surgery in 10 days. Amount, $27,400. I opened my banking app. Not the joint account. My personal account. The one I'd had since I was 16. Savings balance, $18,263.19. 2 years of night shift overtime. Every extra dollar. Saving for a house someday. For a future. I did the math. 27,400 needed. 18,263 in savings. Gap, 9,137. I thought about my parents. About $82,000 sitting in some crypto wallet with Tyler's name on it. I thought about my mother's voice. You'll figure it out. They didn't say, we can't help. They said, we won't. There's a difference. I had one choice left. The choice I'd always had. Save myself. August 10th, 6 a.m. I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, Google search. Personal loan, same-day approval. 12 results. I clicked the first one. State Employees Credit Union. I'd had an account there for years. Direct deposit from work. Personal loan calculator. I plugged in numbers. Amount, $9,200. Term, 36 months. My credit score, 740. The page loaded. Estimated APR, 8.99%. Monthly payment, $293.12. $293 a month. For 3 years. To pay for my own survival. I clicked Apply Now. I filled out the application in 11 minutes. Then I waited. 9:47 a.m. Application submitted. I went to physical therapy. Amanda asked if I was okay. I lied. Said I was fine. 3:22 p.m. My phone buzzed. Email from State Employees Credit Union. Subject, loan approved, $9,200. Congratulations, Alyssa. Your personal loan application has been approved. Loan amount, $9,200. APR, 8.99% term, 36 months. Monthly payment, $293.12. Funds will be available in your account within 24 hours. I read it 3 times. I'd asked my parents for help with my own money. They'd said no, so I went into debt instead. The math was simple, brutal, clear. They chose Tyler's fantasy over my leg. I chose my leg over them. August 11th, 8 a.m. The money hit my account. I didn't tell anyone, not even Jazz. August 12th, 11:06 a.m. I logged into Atrium Health Patient Portal, found the invoice, the one Dr. Pierce's office had sent. Balance due, $27,400. I clicked Make Payment, transferred $18,263 from savings, transferred $9,200 from checking. The loan, total, $27,463. I hit Submit. The screen loaded. Payment received. Thank you. Your surgery is confirmed for Monday, August 19th, 2025, 6 a.m. Please arrive at 4:30 a.m. for preoperative procedures. Confirmation number AH-2 025-08-847291. I screenshotted it, saved it to 3 different places. Then I logged into my savings account. Balance, $0 I'd saved for 2 years. Gone in one click. I logged into my checking. Balance, $147.82. I closed the laptop. Sat back. My savings. 0. My debt. 9,200. My leg. Saved. My family. Dead to me. I didn't call them. I didn't need to. I'd already learned what I was worth to them. August 18th. 10:22 p.m. I was in my room. Packing a bag for the hospital. Change of clothes. Phone charger. ID insurance card. Surgery was at 6 a.m. I had to be there by 4:30. A knock on the door. Alyssa? My mother's voice. I didn't answer. The door opened anyway. Carolyn stepped in, closed the door behind her. We heard you scheduled the surgery. I kept packing. How did you know? The hospital called the emergency contact number. We're still listed. I zipped the bag, said nothing. Where did you get the money? I looked at her. I figured it out. She smiled, like I'd done something clever, like she was proud. Carolyn sat on my bed. The mattress dipped. See? I knew you would. We always knew you'd figure it out. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. You're the strong one, Alyssa. You don't need us the way Tyler does. I stood up, walked to the window. My hands gripped the sill. Your father and I. She kept talking. Didn't notice. We're so proud of you. You handle things. You take care of yourself. Tyler, he needs guidance. He needs support. He's more fragile. My knees buckled. I grabbed the windowsill harder, stayed standing. We knew you'd find a way, she said. That's who you are, the strong one. I turned around. Get out. She blinked. What? Get out of my room. Alyssa, I don't understand why you're out. She stood. Hurt flashed across her face. She left. I locked the door. Sat on the floor. I sat there until sunrise. She'd said it. Out loud. You don't need us the way Tyler does. That was the truth. That was always the truth. 4 a.m. August 19th. My phone buzzed. Jazz. Outside. I grabbed my bag. Walked downstairs. The house was dark. Silent. I left a note on the kitchen table. At hospital. Surgery at 6. Don't come. Jazz's car was idling in the driveway. I got in. You sure you don't want me to wake them? She asked. I'm sure. She didn't push, just drove. I watched my parents' house disappear in the side mirror. I didn't look back. I was about to go under the knife. Alone. By choice. 6 a.m. They wheeled me into OR3. Dr. Pierce stood over me. We're going to take good care of you, Alyssa. The anesthesiologist put the mask on my face. Count backward from 10. 10, 9, 8. I woke up at 10:34 a.m. recovery room. Jazz sitting in the chair beside me. Hey, she said. You're out. How long? 4.5 hours. Dr. Pierce said it went great. The graph took. My leg was elevated, wrapped, heavy. Did my parents? No. I closed my eyes. I didn't expect them to come. I didn't want them to. Jazz stayed until 3 p.m., brought me water. Held my hand when the pain spiked. 3 days inpatient. Standard recovery protocol. My parents didn't visit, didn't call, didn't text. The silence was its own kind of answer. August 22nd, discharge day. Jazz picked me up, drove me to her apartment in Dilworth, 2-bedroom. She'd set up the spare room for me. Twin bed, desk, lamp, clean sheets. You can stay as long as you need, she said. I cried for the first time in weeks. Thank you. You'd do the same for me. We sat on her couch. I had crutches now. No weight bearing for 6 weeks. I need to get my stuff from my parents' house, I said. You want me to go? No. I need to do it myself. When they're not there. Jazz pulled out her phone, checked the calendar. Sunday. They go to church 9 to noon. Sunday, I said. I had 3 days to prepare. 3 days to decide what came next. August 25th, 9:30 a.m. I parked in front of my parents' house. Their car was gone. Church. I had 2.5 hours. I used my key. Let myself in. Went to my room first. Grabbed clothes, books, laptop. Then I stood in the hallway. Doug's office. Door unlocked. He never locked it. Why would he? He trusted me. I pushed it open. Mahogany desk. Filing cabinet. Computer off. Papers on the desk. I stepped closer. Wells Fargo logo. Bank statement. My hand shook when I picked it up. The numbers were right there. Clear. Undeniable. Damning. Statement page 1. Account number 478-233910056 account holders. Douglas Bryant, Alyssa Bryant. Statement period, May 1st to 31st, 2025. I flipped to the transaction page. Line item 14. May 4th, 2025. Wire transfer. Tyler Bryant _ crypto wallet at blockchain.io. $82,000. Authorized by Douglas Bryant. $82,000. May 4th. I'd been using a walker. I set the statement down, looked at the rest of the desk. Email printouts. Stapled together. Subject. Family investment opportunity. Tyler, Dad here. Talked it over with your mother. We're in. Wiring the full $82,000 Monday. Let's get this locked down before premium tier closes. Dad. Tyler's response. Dad, this is IT. The returns are insane. We're going to be rich. Alyssa doesn't need to know yet. Let's surprise her when we cash out. She'll thank us. Doug's reply. Agreed. She's focused on recovery anyway. This is for her future too. I took photos. Every page. Opened Doug's desk drawer. Found a pitch deck. Printed and bound. BitMine, cooperative. Your gateway to generational wealth. 8 to 12% monthly returns. Guaranteed. I photographed all of it. Uploaded everything to Google Drive. Created a folder. Evidence. Shared it with 3 of my email accounts. I heard a car door slam. They were home early. I had 90 seconds. I grabbed the last document. Shoved it in my bag. Got to the front door as their key turned in the lock. September 3rd, 2025. 2 weeks post-op. I was walking with crutches. Healing ahead of schedule. I sent a text to the family group chat. Family dinner tonight, my place. 6 p.m., I'm cooking. Don't bring anything. Carolyn responded immediately. Oh, honey, we'd love that. So glad you're feeling better. Doug. See you then, pumpkin. I texted Carolyn separately. Can you bring Tyler? Of course. He'll be so happy to see you. I borrowed Jazz's dining table, set it for 4, printed all the documents, 14 pages, put them in a manila folder. Jazz watched me from the kitchen. You sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. She touched my shoulder. I'll be at Sarah's. Call me if you need me. I will. 6 p.m. Doorbell rang. I opened the door, smiled. Let them in. I'd made pasta, garlic bread, salad. We sat, ate, made small talk. Tyler talked about his investment maturing, how close we were to cash out. Carolyn asked about my surgery. I said it went fine. Doug told a story about work. I didn't listen. Dessert. I brought out pie. Tyler took a bite. This is great, Liz. Just like old times. I set down my fork. Not quite. I stood, walked to the counter, picked up the manila folder, came back to the table, set it down in the center. I want my $82,000 back. With 6 months of interest at the rate you promised me, that's $86,150. By October 1st. Silence. 11 seconds. I counted. Tyler went pale. Doug opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Carolyn's fork clattered on her plate. I opened the folder, slid the bank statement across the table. May 4th, 2025. You transferred my settlement to Tyler's crypto wallet. You told me it was in a high-yield savings account. Doug stared at the paper. I slid the email chain next. Tyler's email. Alyssa doesn't need to know yet. You agreed, Dad. You said, this is for her future too. Tyler looked at his plate. I slid the text screenshot. The returns are insane. They weren't insane, Tyler. They were fake. Carolyn's voice. Small. You were trying to what? I looked at her. Tell me after I lost my leg? After I went into debt? Doug stood. This is still a family. Sit down. He sat. I stayed standing. August 9th. I called you, Dad. I told you I needed surgery. I told you I could lose my leg. You hung up on me. Alyssa. You hung up. On your daughter. Who was facing amputation. Carolyn was crying. We thought Tyler's investment? You gambled my life on Tyler's fantasy. I pulled out one more paper, my loan statement, slid it across. I paid for my own surgery, $18,000 from my savings, $9,200 from a loan, at 8.99% for 36 months, while you sat on $82,000. Silence. Tyler whispered, Liz, I'm sorry. You bet on him. I looked at Doug, at Carolyn. I bet on me. I picked up my crutches. Guess who won? I walked to the door. They didn't move. I turned back. You taught me something. You taught me I was never the investment. I was the backup plan, the strong one, the one who'd figure it out. Carolyn reached for me. Honey, please. You were right. I did figure it out. I figured out that family doesn't bet one child's future on another child's failure. I opened the door. Don't contact me again. I walked out, closed the door, stood in the hallway, pulled out my phone, blocked Doug's number. 7:24 p.m. Blocked Carolyn's number. 7:24 p.m. Blocked Tyler's number. 7:25 p.m. My hands didn't shake. Jazz was waiting in her car in the parking lot. I'd texted her earlier. I got in. How do you feel? She asked. Free. For the first time in 29 years, I meant it. September. October. No contact. I focused on physical therapy, on healing, on returning to work. September 20th. I walked without crutches. Just a slight limp. October 1st, I returned to work. Desk duty at first. Light hours. Jazz asked one day over coffee. Have they tried to reach out? Carolyn called once. From a different number. I let it go to voicemail. What did she say? I deleted it without listening. Good. October 15th. That's when I got the text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown number. I almost didn't open it. But I recognized the area code. Charlotte. Alyssa, Veronica Martinez here. Not sure if you've seen the news. Bitmine Cooperative was shut down by the FBI yesterday. Ponzi scheme. Investors lost everything. Thought you should know in case your family was involved. A link to a news article. I clicked it. Local crypto scheme defrauds hundreds. $4.2 million lost in Bitmine Ponzi collapse. Federal agents raided Bitmine Cooperative headquarters Tuesday, arresting 3 individuals on charges of wire fraud and conspiracy. The operation, which promised 8 to 12% monthly returns, was revealed to be a classic Ponzi scheme. Over 300 investors lost an estimated $4.2 million. Tyler's name wasn't in the article. Too small an investor. But the scheme was real. I read it twice. I felt nothing. They'd lost it all. Every dollar. And I didn't feel vindicated. I felt free. October 28th, 10:14 p.m. My phone rang. Another unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Listen to the first 10 seconds. Carolyn's voice, shaking. Alyssa, please. Your brother is. The investment didn't. We need you to. I deleted it. Blocked the number. They wanted me to save them. The way they didn't save me. Early November. Jazz came over with takeout. My cousin saw Tyler at Walmart last week. Said he looked rough. I ate my noodles. Said nothing. Apparently he got evicted. He's back living with your parents. You okay? I looked at her. Yeah, I'm okay. She studied my face. Nodded. Good. Tyler lost his apartment. My parents lost $82,000, and I gained something they'd never given me. Peace. December 1st, 2025. My regional manager called me into his office. Alyssa, sit. I sat. He slid a folder across the desk. Operations manager, effective immediately. $64,000 a year. Your own office. You've earned this. I stared at the offer letter. $64,000. $12,000 more than I'd made before. You've shown incredible resilience, he said. This promotion is well deserved. I signed the letter. Thank you, I'm ready. The next day, I bought a coffee maker for my new office. Small things. They mattered now. I was rebuilding. On my terms. With my money. Mid-December. I signed a lease on a one-bedroom apartment downtown. Walking distance to work. 650 square feet. $1,100 a month. Security deposit $1,100. Move-in date January 1st, 2026. I stood in the empty apartment. Sunlight through the windows. Hardwood floors. The landlord handed me the keys. Welcome home. I held the keys in my palm. Thank you. It was mine. All mine. I didn't need anyone's permission. Anyone's approval. Anyone's money. Thanksgiving. Jazz invited me to her family's house. Her mom hugged me. Her dad asked about my leg. Her niece showed me her drawings. I felt like I belonged. Christmas Eve. I volunteered at Carolina's Medical Center. Pediatric ICU. Brought books to the kids. Read to them. Held their hands. A little girl asked, "Do you have family?" I thought about it. I'm building one. She smiled. New Year's resolution. Therapy. I called a counselor. Made an appointment. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. $40 copay. First session, the therapist asked, "What do you want from these sessions?" I looked at her. "I want to stop carrying people who wouldn't carry me." She wrote that down. That's a good start. I was learning what I deserved and what I didn't have to accept anymore. New Year's Eve, 2025. I sat at my desk in Jazz's apartment. One more week until I moved. I opened my journal. Wrote. They called me the strong one like it was a gift. It was a cage. Strength isn't what you survive. It's what you refuse to carry anymore. I checked my savings account. Balance, $3,200. Rebuilding. I checked my loan balance. Remaining, $7,103.18. I'd made aggressive payments. Double payments when I could. I'd be free of it by next summer. My physical therapy had been discharged December 15th. Full recovery, Amanda had said. You beat the odds, Alyssa. I'd beaten more than the odds. I'd beaten the story they wrote for me, the one where I was disposable, where I was the backup plan, where I was strong enough to be abandoned. I wrote that story's ending myself, and I walked away. New Year's Day, 2026. Morning light through the window, coffee steaming on my desk, budget spreadsheet open. My leg didn't hurt. My phone was silent. Family still blocked. The future was open. I'd survived a 12-foot fall, 9 days in the ICU, learning to walk again. A second surgery. Debt. Betrayal. I'd survived my family, and I'd learned the difference between being strong and being used. They taught me I was never the investment. So I invested in myself. Best decision I ever made. If someone tells you you're too strong to need help, run. That's not love. That's abandonment with a bow on it. Real family doesn't bet on one child and abandon the other. Real family shows up when you bleed, not just when you win. And if nobody taught you that growing up, I'm teaching you now. You are not too much. You were never too much. You were just surrounded by people who were too little. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Thousands of us have been the strong one in families that confused strength with disposability. Drop a comment if you've been there. Tell me your story. Let's build something better together. We're stronger together than we ever were apart. And if you need to hear this today, you deserved better. You always did. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's survival. And you have permission to survive.